The jungle moon of Elenfor was beautiful and deadly. Green mist rose from the trees each morning. Strange birds sang songs that echoed across the valleys. 2 purple suns hung in the sky, casting long shadows over the research outpost that sat at the edge of the forbidden. Wu stepped off the transport ship and looked around. The air was thick and warm. It smelled like flowers and something else. Something wild. He was 25 years old, thin, with sharp eyes that noticed everything. He had traveled across 3 star systems to reach this place. Not for the job. Not for the adventure. He came because his brother was here. His brother. Tay. The outpost was a collection of white buildings surrounded by a tall metal fence. Aliens of many species walked between the buildings. Some had forearms. Some had scales. Some floated instead of walking. Wu had seen aliens before, but never so many in one place. This was a shared research station. It's built by the Galactic Council to study the strange life forms on Velon-4. A woman approached him. She was human, like him. She had kind eyes and a medical badge on her uniform. "You must be Wu," she said. "I'm Hannah. I work in the medical center." Wu shook her hand. "Nice to meet you. Have you seen my brother, Tay? He's a xenobiologist. He was supposed to meet me." Hannah's smile faded. She looked away for a moment. "We should talk inside." Wu felt his stomach drop. Something was wrong. Inside the main building, the air was cool and clean. Screens covered the walls, showing data and maps. Aliens worked at desks, studying information. In the center of the room stood a tall creature with shiny black skin and large eyes. It had the body of an insect but moved with grace and authority. This was Ambassador Veth, the leader of the outpost. Beside the ambassador stood a smaller alien with 4 arms and gray skin. This was Counselor Drin. He was always nervous. His 4 hands never stopped moving. "Ah, another human," Ambassador Veth said. His voice was deep and smooth. "Welcome to Velenfor. You are the brother of the xenobiologist?" "Yes," Wu said. "Where is he?" The ambassador looked at Counselor Drin. The counselor made a small sound of worry. "Your brother entered the red zone 14 days ago," Ambassador Veth said. "He has not returned." Wu felt cold. "The red zone? What is that?" Hannah stepped forward. "It's the forbidden jungle. Nobody's allowed to go there." "Why not?" Ambassador Veth pressed a button on his desk. A hologram appeared in the air. It showed a creature that made Wu's blood freeze. The thing was massive. It had 6 powerful legs and a body covered in dark scales. Glowing blue lines ran across its skin like rivers of light. Its head was long, with rows of sharp teeth and eyes that burned like fire. Spines ran down its back, each one as long as a sword. "This is the Veloth ambassador," Veth said. "The apex predator of this moon. Perhaps the most dangerous creature in the known galaxy." Counselor Drin spoke quickly, his forehand shaking. 47 researchers have died trying to study it. 12 soldiers. 3 ambassadors. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be captured. It cannot be reasoned with. Every species that has come to this moon has lost people to the Veleth, Ambassador Veth continued. "We have learned only one lesson. Stay away. Never enter its territory. Never approach it." Wu stared at the hologram. The creature looked like something from a nightmare. "And my brother went in there?" "He said he wanted to observe the creature from a safe distance," Hannah said softly. "He went alone. That was 2 weeks ago." Wu's hands became fists. "Then we need to send a rescue team." Ambassador Veth shook his head slowly. "There's nothing to rescue. If your brother entered the Veleth's territory, he is dead. Humans are fragile creatures. Soft skin, weak bones, no natural weapons. The Veleth would have killed him in seconds." "You don't know my brother." "I know reality," the ambassador said. "The Veleth has killed warriors from the strongest species in the galaxy. Your brother was a scientist with a notebook." "I am sorry, human. He is gone." Wu wanted to argue. He wanted to scream. But he saw the certainty in the ambassador's large eyes. Everyone in this room believed his brother was dead, but Wu did not believe it. He could not believe it. That night, Wu sat alone in his small room. He looked at old photos on his tablet. Photos of him and Tay as children, photos of them fishing with their father. Photos of Tay holding strange creatures he had found in the forests near their home. Tay had always been different. While other children ran from spiders and snakes, Tay sat down and watched them. He learned their patterns. He earned their trust. Once, when they were young, Tay had walked up to a wild dog that everyone in the village feared. The dog had bitten 3 people, but when Tay approached it, the dog lay down and let Tay pet its head. Their mother had the same gift. She once fed a bear that wandered near their home. That bear still came back every winter, gentle as a lamb. Wu closed his tablet and looked out the window. The jungle was dark now, but he could see faint blue lights moving between the trees. The Velith was out there somewhere, and so was his brother. Wu was sure of it. The next morning, Wu went to the command center. New arrivals were getting their safety briefing. Counselor Drin stood at the front, showing images on a large screen. "Never enter the red zone," Drin said, his voice high with fear. "Never approach any creature that glows. Never touch the alpha predator. These rules exist because death is certain if you break them." The new arrivals nodded. They were afraid. Good. Fear would keep them alive, but Wu was not listening to the rules. He was studying the maps on the wall. He was looking for a way into the jungle. He was making a plan. Hannah found him after the briefing. "I know what you're thinking," she said quietly. "You want to go after him?" "Yes." "They won't let you. The fence is guarded. The jungle is watched by drones." Wu smiled slightly. "Then, I need to find another way." Hannah studied his face for a long moment. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. "This is a drone controller," she said. "Personal use. Off the official records. It can fly into the red zone without triggering alarms." Wu took the device carefully. "Why are you helping me?" Hannah looked toward the window, toward the endless green jungle. "'Cause I've been here for 6 months," she said. "And I've watched this place crush hope out of everyone. Humans, aliens, everyone. They all learn to accept death. They all stop fighting." She looked back at Wu. "But you haven't, and maybe that means something." We held the controller tight. Tomorrow, he would send the drone into the jungle. Tomorrow, he would find out what happened to his brother. He did not know that what he would discover would change everything. Not just for him. Not just for the outpost. But for the entire galaxy's understanding of what humans truly were. The Velith was waiting in the darkness. And so was the truth. Wu waited until the 2 suns began to set. The sky turned orange and purple. Most of the aliens returned to their buildings for evening meals. The guards changed shifts. This was the perfect time. He found a quiet spot behind the storage building. The fence was close, but he did not need to cross it. He only needed to send his eyes over it. He powered on the small drone. It was no bigger than his hand, painted dark green to match the jungle. Hannah had given him good equipment. The drone rose silently into the air and disappeared over the fence. Wu watched the screen on his controller. The drone's camera showed the jungle below. Trees as tall as buildings. Flowers that glowed in the fading light. Rivers that cut through the green like silver ribbons. He flew deeper into the red zone. His heart beat fast. Somewhere down there, his brother had walked. Somewhere down there, the most dangerous creature in the galaxy hunted. An hour passed. Then, too, the suns fully set, and the jungle became alive with strange lights. Plants glowed blue and green. Insects sparkled like stars. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Then the drone detected something. A signal, weak but clear. Wu checked the data. It was a standard check-in beacon. The kind researchers used to let the outposts know they were alive. But this beacon was not calling for help. It was simply saying, "I am here. I am fine." The signal came from a clearing 2 kilometers ahead. Wu pushed the drone forward. His hands were shaking now. Hope and fear fought inside his chest. What would he find? A beacon next to a body. A last message from a dead man? The drone reached the clearing. Wu looked at the screen, and he stopped breathing. Tay was alive. His brother sat on a fallen log, eating something from a small container. He looked healthy. His clothes were dirty and torn, but he was not injured. He was not afraid. He was eating dinner like he was on a camping trip, but that was not the thing that made Wu's heart stop. Behind Tay, lying in the grass like a giant dog, was the Veloth. The creature was even more massive than the hologram had shown. Its body was longer than a bus. Its scales shimmered with bioluminescent blue light. Its claws were as long as knives. Its eyes, which could see in complete darkness, watched the jungle calmly. And it was resting, peacefully. Next to Tay, as Wu watched, Tay finished his meal and stood up. He walked to the Veloth without fear. The creature lifted its enormous head. Tay reached out and scratched behind the bony ridges on its neck. The Veloth made a sound, a deep, rumbling sound. It was purring. The most dangerous creature in the known galaxy was purring like a cat, while Wu's brother scratched its head. Wu's hands were shaking so badly that he almost dropped the controller. He saved the video footage. He saved everything. Then he brought the drone back before it ran out of power. He did not sleep that night. The next morning, Wu went straight to the command center. He found Hannah first and showed her the video on his personal tablet. Her face went pale. "That's impossible," she whispered. "It's real. I recorded it last night. The Veloth has killed hundreds of people. Soldiers with weapons, hunters with traps. How is he? I don't know. But I need to show the ambassador." They found Ambassador Veth in his office. Counselor Drin was with him, reviewing reports. Both aliens looked up when Wu entered. "Human," the ambassador said. "You look troubled. I found my brother." The ambassador's large eyes blinked slowly. "Found his body, you mean?" "No." Wu connected his tablet to the main screen. "I found him alive." He played the video. The room went silent. Ambassador Veth's tall body became very still. Counselor Drin's hands stopped moving completely. For the first time since Wu had arrived, the nervous alien was frozen. On the screen, Tay scratched the Veloth's head. The creature purred. "This is not possible," Counselor Drin whispered. His voice was barely a sound. "This is not possible." Ambassador Veth leaned forward, studying every detail of the video. "Is this fake?" "Human technology can create false images. It's real," Hannah said. "I know the drone system he used. The footage is genuine." "Then how?" The ambassador's voice was different now. Less calm, almost afraid. "The Veloth kills everything. Every species has tried to approach it. Every species has died. How is this human touching it like a pet?" Wu watched his brother on the screen. Tay looked so comfortable, so natural, like he had done this 1,000 times before. "My brother has a gift," Wu said slowly. "He always has. Animals trust him, dangerous animals especially. When we were children, he tamed a wild dog that had bitten many people. He feeds birds from his hand. Snakes crawl into his lap." "But this is not a dog or a snake," Drin said. "This is the Veloth. This is death itself. Maybe death just needed a friend." Ambassador Veth stood up sharply. "This changes everything. We need to bring him back. We need to study how he did this. He won't come back if you force him," Wu said. "I know my brother. If you send soldiers, he will disappear deeper into the jungle, and so will the Veloth. Then what do you suggest?" "Let me go to him alone. I'll talk to him. I'll bring him home." The ambassador thought for a long moment. Counselor Drin looked like he might faint. "Very well," Ambassador Veth finally said. "You may go. But understand this. Human. If the Veloth kills you, we cannot help. You enter the red zone at your own risk." Wu nodded. "I understand." Spent the rest of the day preparing. Hannah helped him pack supplies. Water, food, a medical kit, a communication device. Simple things. He did not bring weapons. Weapons would send the wrong message. As the suns began to set again, Wu stood at the gate to the red zone. The jungle waited beyond, dark and full of sounds. Hannah stood beside him. "Are you sure about this?" "He's my brother." "I'm always sure." The gate opened. Wu stepped through. Behind him, aliens gathered to watch. Many believed they were watching a dead man walk. Humans were weak. Humans were fragile. Humans had no claws, no armor, no venom. But they were wrong about humans. They'd always been wrong, somewhere deep in history. On a small blue planet called Earth, humans had looked at wolves and seen friends. They had looked at wild horses and seen partners. They had looked at the deadliest creatures on their world and thought, "I wonder if I can pet that." Wu walked into the jungle. The darkness swallowed him. He was going to find his brother, and together they would show the galaxy what humans could do. The trees closed behind him like a curtain. The night sounds grew louder. Something large moved in the distance, its blue light flickering between the branches. Wu smiled and kept walking. He was not afraid. He was excited, after all. He had never met an apex predator before. 2 weeks earlier, Tay had crossed the fence alone. He had not been foolish. He had not been brave. He had simply been curious. His whole life, he had watched animals. He had learned their ways. He had discovered a simple truth. Most creatures did not want to fight. They wanted to survive. They wanted to eat. They wanted to rest. Violence was a tool, not a goal. The Velith was no different. Tay was sure of it. On his first day in the jungle, he found tracks. Massive prints pressed deep into the soft ground. Each footprint was bigger than his entire body. He followed them carefully, keeping his distance. On the second day, he heard it. A deep growl that shook the trees. He stood very still. He did not run. Running triggered the hunting instinct in predators. Instead, he sat down slowly. He made himself small. He waited. The Velith appeared through the mist. It was more beautiful than any picture could show. Its scales caught the light and scattered it like diamonds. Its eyes were ancient and intelligent. This was not a mindless beast. This was a thinking creature. It approached him. Its massive head lowered. Hot breath washed over Tay's face. He could see every tooth. Each one was as long as his forearm. Tay did not move. He breathed slowly. He kept his eyes down, showing respect, not challenge. The Velith sniffed him. It circled him once, twice, 3 times. Then it made a sound. A questioning sound. Why was this small creature not running? Why was it not fighting? Tay reached into his bag and pulled out dried meat. He had brought it from the outpost. He placed it on the ground in front of him and pushed it forward gently. The Velith sniffed the offering. Then, slowly, it ate. That was the beginning. Over the next days, Tay repeated this pattern. He followed the Velith at a respectful distance. He left food offerings. He never made sudden movements. He never showed fear, but he also never showed aggression. He was simply present, patient, calm. On the 5th day, the Velith stopped running away from him. It let him follow closer. On the 8th day, it waited for him in the morning, as if expecting him. On the 10th day, Tay sat down near it while it rested. The creature watched him but did not attack. They stayed like that for hours, sharing the same space. On the 12th day, Tay reached out his hand. His heart was pounding, but his hand was steady. He touched the Velith's side. Its scales were warm and smooth. The creature tensed for a moment. Then it relaxed. On the 14th day, the Velith lowered its body and made a soft sound. An invitation. Tay understood. He climbed onto its back, and now here they were. Human and apex predator. Bonded Wu found them the next morning. He had walked through the night, following the beacon signal. His legs ached. His clothes were torn by thorns. But when he stepped into the clearing and saw his brother, all the pain disappeared. Tay. His brother looked up and smiled. The same smile from their childhood, warm and knowing. I knew you would come, Tay said. You always come. Wu wanted to run and hug him, but the Veloth was watching. Its fiery eyes tracked every movement. It's okay, Tay said. She won't hurt you. She knows your family. Yes, she's female. I call her Buyal. It means star. Because of the lights on her skin, Wu approached slowly. Up close, Bujel was even more impressive. He could feel the heat from her body. He could hear her breathing, deep and powerful, like a living engine. Wu asked, "How did you do this?" Tay patted Boulet's neck. She made that purring sound again. I didn't do anything special. I just treated her like a living creature instead of a monster. Every species that came here saw her as a threat. They brought weapons. They set traps. They attacked first. And she responded the only way she knew how, by killing them. By defending herself, but I showed her something different. I showed her patience, respect, kindness. Tay looked at his brother. Humans are the only species I know that learned this. We looked at wolves and saw friends. We looked at horses and saw partners. We looked at the most dangerous animals on Earth and thought, maybe we don't have to fight. Wu laughed softly. Mom always said you got that from her. I did. Remember the bear? How could I forget? That thing weighs 500 kilos and it still follows her around like a puppy. The brothers smiled at each other. For a moment, they were back home, sitting by the river, watching their mother feed wild animals that should have eaten her. The outpost wants you to come back, Wu said. They saw the video. Ambassador Veth nearly fainted. I bet he did. These aliens don't understand humans. They think we're weak because we don't have claws or armor. But they don't see our real strength. Pack bonding. Exactly. We form connections. We build families. Not just with each other, but with other species. We adopt things that should kill us and turn them into companions. Tay scratched Buell's head. The galaxy has never seen anything like us. Wu sat down beside his brother. Buell watched him but did not move. Slowly, she rested her massive head on the ground, accepting his presence. Will you come back? Wu asked. Yes, but Buell comes with me. She's part of my pack now. The aliens will be terrified. Good. Maybe they'll finally understand what humans are. They stayed in the clearing until midday, talking and laughing. Tay shared his food. Wu told him about Hannah and the frightened counselor Drin. They spoke about home, about their parents, about the stars. When it was time to leave, Tay climbed onto Buell's back. He offered his hand to Wu. Come on. It's faster this way. Wu looked at the massive predator. Every instinct told him to refuse. But his brother was smiling, and Wu trusted Tay more than he trusted his own fear. He took the hand. He climbed up. Bajel rose smoothly. She was so tall that Wu could see over the treetops. The jungle stretched endlessly in every direction, beautiful and wild. Hold on, Tay said. Byul began to run. Not hunting speed, but a steady pace that covered ground quickly. Wu held on to Tay and watched the world blur past. He was riding an apex predator, the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. And he was laughing. Back at the outpost, the aliens were about to receive a shock. They had spent centuries believing they understood the universe. They had mapped the stars, studied countless species, built empires of knowledge, but they had never met humans before. Not really. They were about to learn that humans didn't avoid monsters. They didn't run from predators. They didn't accept that something was too dangerous to touch. Humans looked at the impossible, said, I wonder if it wants to be my friend. And somehow, impossibly, unbelievably, the answer was usually yes. The jungle shook as Bujal ran toward the outpost. The aliens would see her coming. They would prepare their weapons, their shields, their defenses, but Tay would raise his hand. And Bujal would stop, and then the real conversation would begin. The return to the outpost was chaos. Guards saw Bujal first. Alarms screamed across the compound. Soldiers ran to their positions. Weapons powered up with high-pitched whines. Every alien in the outpost prepared for death. Then they saw the humans on Bull's back. Tay raised his hand. Buell stopped at the edge of the fence, calm as stone. Her glowing eyes looked at the soldiers without interest. They were not threats. They were not prey. They were simply there. Ambassador Veth came running. His insect body was not built for running, so he looked awkward and afraid. Counselor Drin followed, his forearms waving in panic. "Ah! What is this?" Veth shouted. "You brought the creature here?" "She won't hurt anyone," Tay called down. "Unless you attack first. So please tell your soldiers to lower their weapons." Ambassador hesitated. Every piece of knowledge he had told him this was wrong. The Velith killed. That was what it did. That was all it did. But the creature was sitting peacefully, and the human was petting it. "Lower weapons," Veth finally ordered. His voice shook slightly. The soldiers obeyed. The alarms stopped. Silence fell over the outpost. Tay and Wu climbed down from Buell's back. Hannah ran to meet them, her eyes wide with amazement. "You're both insane," she said. But she was smiling. "Family tradition?" Wu replied. For the next 3 days, the outpost was transformed. Scientists from every species came to observe Bujail. They kept their distance, taking readings and measurements from behind safety barriers. Buell ignored them all. She stayed near Tay, resting in a clearing just outside the fence. A human soldier named Jin was assigned to guard Tay. Jin was skeptical. He had seen many dangerous things in his career, and he did not trust the Velith. "One day it will turn on you," Jin said. "Predators are predators. You can't change what they are." "I'm not trying to change her," Tay replied. "I'm trying to understand her. There's a difference." Jin just shook his head and checked his weapon. On the 4th day, everything changed. The sky split open with fire. Ships descended from orbit. Not research ships. Not diplomatic vessels. Warships. Their hulls were black and covered with weapons. Their engines roared like thunder. The Marauders had come. Ambassador Veth received the transmission with horror. The face on the screen was Warlord Keth, a famous pirate who had raided dozens of worlds. His species was large and brutal, with thick gray skin and tusks that curved from their jaws. "Surrender the outpost," Keth growled. "Give us your research data. And give us the humans, especially the one who controls the beast." "You have no right to attack a Galactic Council station," Veth protested. Keth laughed. "Rights are for the weak. You have 1 hour." The transmission ended. Panic spread through the outpost. Most of the researchers were scientists, not soldiers. Jin and his small team were the only real fighters. They were badly outnumbered. "We can't win this," Jin said grimly. "Their ships have already destroyed our communications. Help isn't coming." Tay stood at the window, watching the Marauder ships land outside the compound. Troops were pouring out. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. "And we need to even the odds," Tay said quietly. He walked toward the gate. Wu followed. "What are you doing?" Jin demanded. "Getting help." Outside the fence, Buell was already standing. She sensed the danger. Her body was tense, her spines raised. Blue light raced along her scales. Tay placed his hand on her neck. "I need your family," he said softly. "Can you call them?" Bujeo looked at him with those ancient eyes. Then she raised her head toward the sky and made a sound. It was not a roar. It was not a cry. It was something deeper, a vibration that Tay felt in his bones. A call that echoed across the jungle, through the valleys, over the mountains. And then, from the depths of the red zone, answers came. More sounds. Different pitches. Different voices. But the same species, the Velith had a pack. Wu stared into the jungle. "Tay, how many are there?" "I don't know. Buell is the alpha, the leader. The others follow her." The first Marauders reached the outpost wall. They planted explosives. The fence exploded inward. Smoke and fire filled the air. Jin and his soldiers opened fire. Hannah pulled wounded aliens to safety. Ambassador Veth tried to organize a retreat. Counselor Drin simply screamed. The Marauders pushed forward. Their weapons tore through the outpost buildings. Researchers fell. Soldiers fell. The battle was already lost. Then the ground began to shake. Warlord Keth was leading his troops personally. He stood at the center of the outpost, laughing at the destruction. His species had conquered many worlds. This little station was nothing. Then he felt it. The shaking. He looked up. From the jungle came nightmares. 6 Veloth burst from the trees. 6 apex predators, each one massive and terrible. Their scales blazed with light. Their roar split the sky. And at the front of them all, riding the alpha like a warrior from legend, was a human. Tay pointed at the marauders. Bujel charged. The battle that followed would become legend. The marauders, who had conquered worlds, who had never known fear, learned it now. The Veloth pack moved like a storm. Their claws tore through armor. Their teeth crushed weapons. Their speed was impossible for creatures so large. Soldiers ran. Ships tried to take off and were pulled back down. Warlord Keth shouted orders that nobody followed. His army was scattering, broken by pure terror. Jin stood among the ruins and watched. He had thought the Veloth was dangerous. He had been right. But he had never imagined this. "What is that human?" Jin whispered. Hannah stood beside him, tears in her eyes. "That's what we are," she said. "That's what humans have always been. We don't fight alone. We build packs. We build families. And then we fight together." Keth tried to run. He made it 50 meters before Bujal caught him. She pinned him to the ground with one massive paw. He looked up at death itself. But Tay said a word. Just one word. And Bujal stopped. She did not kill Keth. She held him there, helpless. While the other Veloth finished rooting his army, Tay climbed down from Buell's back and walked to the defeated warlord. "You wanted the one who controls the beast?" Tay said calmly. "Here I am. What do you want to say?" Keth could not speak. His voice was gone. His courage was gone. Everything was gone. "Tell the galaxy what you saw here," Tay continued. "Tell them about the humans. Tell them we don't just survive apex predators. We become their family. And family protects each other." Buell released Keth. The warlord scrambled backward and ran for the jungle. He would survive. He would tell others. That was the point. The battle was over. The outpost was saved, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The twin suns rose over a changed outpost. Where there had been fear, there was now wonder. Where there had been walls, there were now paths leading into the jungle. The line between the red zone and the safe zone had blurred forever. 7 Veloth rested at the edge of the compound. They had not left after the battle. They had stayed, watching, waiting. Their alpha was bonded to a human, and so they stayed near the humans too. Ambassador Veth had not slept in 3 days. He spent every moment writing reports, recording observations, trying to explain what had happened. But the words always felt wrong. How could he describe the impossible? He found Tay sitting near Bujel, sharing breakfast. The apex predator ate a piece of fruit from Tay's hand, while the human ate a simple meal of rice and vegetables. "I need to ask you something," Veth said carefully. "I need to understand." Tay looked up. "Ask why. Why did you come to this moon? Why did you enter the jungle? Why did you risk your life for a creature that everyone told you would kill you?" Tay thought about the question. He scratched Buell's neck while he considered his answer. "On Earth," he finally said, "there is a story about the first wolf that became a dog. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors sat by their fires. Wolves watched from the darkness. They were predators, dangerous, hungry. Every instinct said to fear them. Logical instincts," Veth agreed. "Yes, but one human, somewhere in history, made a different choice. Maybe they threw the wolf a scrap of meat. Maybe they just sat very still and waited. We don't know the details. But something changed. The wolf came closer. The human accepted it. And from that moment, everything was different." Veth tilted his head. "One moment of kindness changed your species forever?" "Kindness, patience, curiosity, all of those things. Humans are not the strongest species. We are not the fastest. We don't have claws or venom or armor, but we have something else. We look at dangerous things and ask, what if we work together instead of fighting? Buell made a soft sound. Tay smiled at her. Every other species that came to this moon saw the Velith as a problem to solve, a danger to eliminate, a monster to fear. I saw an animal, a living creature, a potential friend. Tay met Veth's eyes. That is the difference between humans and everyone else. We don't just want to survive. We want to connect. Veth was silent for a long moment. Then he bowed his head in respect. I will include this in my report to the Galactic Council. They need to understand. They won't believe it, Tay said. Not at first.
Perhaps.
But Warlord Keth is already spreading stories. Every marauder who escaped is telling others what they saw. The galaxy is already talking about the humans who ride apex predators. Veth almost smiled. You have become a legend. Not me. Bujal is the legend. I'm just the one who is patient enough to wait. That evening, the outpost held a gathering. All species came together to celebrate their survival. Hannah organized food and music from a dozen different worlds. Counselor Drin, still nervous, handed out drinks with all four hands. Even Jin, the skeptical soldier, came and sat near the fire. Wu found his brother standing at the edge of the jungle looking at the stars. You're going to stay, aren't you? Wu asked. For now. There's so much to learn here. Buell's pack has lived on this moon for thousands of years. They have memories, stories, knowledge that no one has ever recorded. I want to understand them. You want to become part of their family. Tay smiled. I already am. They stood together in comfortable silence. Behind them, aliens laughed and talked. Ahead of them, the Velith pack rested peacefully, their glowing bodies lighting up the night like living constellations. What do you think Mom would say if she could see this? Wu asked. She would say, I told you so. She always said the scariest creatures just need someone to care about them. Remember when she brought home that poisonous snake? Dad nearly had a heart attack. She named it Sugar. It slept in her garden for years. Humans are crazy. We prefer the term optimistic. The brothers laughed together. It felt good. It felt like home. Later that night, as the celebration continued, Ambassador Veth sent his report to the Galactic Council. The message traveled across stars and systems. Reaching the highest levels of government, the Council received many reports every day. Wars, discoveries, disasters, treaties. But this report was different. This report changed everything. The file on humanity was updated. A new section was added marked with the highest priority flag. It read, Humanity represents a unique classification of species. Unlike all other known civilizations, humans demonstrate a pattern of behavior we have termed pack bonding. Its behavior involves forming deep emotional and social connections with other species, including apex predators. Documented examples from human history include domestication of wolves, now called dogs, bonding with large cats, riding elephants and horses, training birds of prey, swimming with sharks, and keeping venomous creatures as companions. The recent incident on Velen 4 confirms that this behavior extends beyond their home planet. Human subject Tay successfully formed a pack bond with a Velith, an apex predator that has killed 412 researchers across multiple species over the past century. Recommendation: do not threaten human settlements. Do not attack human vessels. Do not underestimate human diplomacy. They do not merely survive dangerous creatures, they earn their loyalty. The beasts that worlds have feared for millennia, humans call them pets.
Ow.
The council read the report 3 times. Some members were skeptical, some were afraid, some were fascinated, but all of them understood one thing. The galaxy had never seen anything like humanity before, and it probably never would again. On Velen 4, the twin suns rose again. Tay woke early and walked to the clearing where Bujel slept. The great creature opened one eye as he approached, then closed it again. Completely relaxed. Completely trusting Wu, joined him a few minutes later. He had decided to stay for a while longer. Hannah and Jin were staying too. The outpost was becoming more than a research station. It was becoming a home. What happens next? Wu asked. Tay looked at the jungle, at the Velith pack, at the alien compound full of species from across the stars. And we learn. We grow. We make more connections. That's what humans do. We find the lonely things in the universe and say, you don't have to be alone anymore. Bugel stirred and nudged Tay's shoulder with her massive head. He scratched her neck, and she purred. They warned everyone never to touch the alpha predator, Wu said. And you are already riding it, Tay grinned. What can I say? Humans don't follow warnings very well. The brothers sat in the morning light, surrounded by creatures from other worlds, bonded to beasts that should have killed them. They were small and soft and fragile by galactic standards, but they were human, and that made all the difference. The jungle sang with life. The Velith pack stirred and stretched. Somewhere across the stars, aliens read reports about the strange species that made friends with monsters. And Tay smiled. Because this was just the beginning. There were so many more. Apex predators in the galaxy. And humans had only just started making introductions.